Hi, and welcome to the Old English Lab section. So if this was an in-person class, the way that we would do this is I would have given you this handout and made you work in pairs in the class, but this is not an in-person class, so you are going to be doing this worksheet at home, but I would still like you to work within a group because I know that many of you know other students in this class. So if you know a friend, feel free to work with that person, or if you know more than one person, feel free to form a group and work within the group. I am also happy to make groups and put that on like the discussion board, or like create groups on Blackboard so that you can collaborate with your friends if you want to do that. So let me know if you would prefer me to do it. I'm happy to do that. But you would need your textbook to do this worksheet. So please keep your PDF version of the textbook with you. And I'm just going to walk you through the worksheet, kind of show you how to do this. And then you will do it. And then I will upload an answer key on Blackboard so that you can check your answers against the answer key. So for the first question, I have given you some sentences and I have italicized certain English words, and I want you to find the Anglo-Saxon or the Old English translation for that particular word, followed by the grammatical information. So I've given you an example here. That is the child's toy becomes childish or beerness in Old English, and it's a genitive case marking. It is singular and it's a masculine noun. So that's the kind of information that I want you to give me for each of the italicized words. Now, where will you find this information? A lot of these can be found within your textbook in the Old English chapter, which is chapter 4, as well as the chapter before that with the Indo-European, but mostly from page 51 to let's see, page 84 or 85 is where you're going to be finding majority of this. And sometimes you're not able to find like the exact word. Feel free to use like an Old English dictionary that you can find online, or any other resource that you have for Old English. So that's going to be useful for you as well. So that's what I want you to be doing. And majority of the things with the grammatical information can be found, for example, in these kind of tables that you have in your chapters. So these are like the tables for the adjective good in Old English, or the strong verb declensions, etc. The demonstrative, see, some Old English strong noun endings, etc. So these are where you're going to be finding all these sort of grammatical information. If you haven't read this chapter, I highly recommend reading that chapter before you do the worksheet. That's the first question. The second one is, well, I've given you Anglo-Saxon and I want you to translate these into modern English. So I've given you Anglo-Saxon, translate these into modern English sentences. And I've given you an example. He flew, they sang, is they sang loudly. It's a subject, it's an adverb, and it's a verb, right? So as you can see, the word order in Old English is different from modern English. Modern English is subject, verb, and object. But in Old English, you can see the adverb comes before the verb, versus in modern English, the adverb is always at the end. So they sang loudly, not they loudly sang. So I want you to do that for the sentences that I have given you here. And I also want you to indicate the order of phrases. Then here is Alfred's translation of Pope Gregory's Pastoral Care. It's in Old English. I want you to read this, and I want you to identify Old English forms in this passage that you recognize as modern English words that exist today as modern English words. can you name some prepositions and how do they measure up to modern ones? How do you compare the prepositions of Old English to the prepositions of modern English? Have Old English prepositional forms changed meaning in the last millennium or so? Explain. So, for example, you would need to kind of identify the prepositions here and kind of see if there are any meaning changes that has happened from Old English to modern English. Can you identify some compounds and which nouns seem meaningful to you and which verbs? So basically, I'm trying to get you to read an Anglo-Saxon text and identify prepositions, nouns, verbs, etc. And to what extent have these terms changed over time, either in meaning or in form? Can you tell what some of the inflections indicate regarding number, gender, and case? So really, this whole set of questions is building on this passage from Alfred's translation of Pope Gregory's Pastoral Care. You really don't need to know the translation in modern English in order to do this. The aim of this is to get you to read Anglo-Saxon and understand Anglo-Saxon from an Anglo-Saxon point of view. So that's what I want you to do for your lab section. Again, if you can work in pairs, if you can work in groups, I highly recommend that because it's really helpful to have a friend, and it's really helpful, if not, to have your PDF of the textbook because a lot of the answers, a lot of the pointers to how you can answer these questions are going to be in the chapter that I just mentioned to you. So good luck with this. And again, don't fret if you cannot find something, if something is incomprehensible to you. I will be putting up an answer key so that you can always compare your answers. But also the point is for you to get familiarity with Anglo-Saxon texts. But your midterm, I'm not going to be asking you a whole lot of questions like this that take a lot of time because we only have 2 hours. And this worksheet is definitely going to take you like an hour and a half to do. So obviously the questions are not going to be so complicated in your midterm. Just wanted to put that out there. But also your midterm is open book. So you have access to your PDF of the textbook if you need it. All right, good luck with this.